Today we're checking out the new Lenovo Tab Plus Gen 2. I feel like Lenovo is one of the few companies that comes out with different designs than what you normally see. And that's definitely the case with this one. I paid $399 for mine, but of course they'll probably put this on sale right after I paid full price. So you'll definitely want to check the link down below for current pricing and more information. Now this one is about $100 less than the new Idea Tab Pro Gen 2 that we just looked at. This one also comes with the clear case, but it also works with the Tab Pen Plus. They also have a case that they call the sleeve suit that's available for this as well. I've got to say, this thing looks pretty crazy. As you can see, they've got a spot for the wall adapter, but again, they don't include it for some reason. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, and it takes a micro SD card to expand the storage as well. Seems like pretty nice quality on the clear case. Harder plastic shell on the back, nice softer TPU material around the edges. It's a little bit heavier than the previous version, now at 760 grams. The tablet itself is pretty thin and lightweight, but because that large speaker in the middle, it definitely feels a little heavier than most other tablets. And it's got a built-in 360-degree rotating kickstand. It even works as a handle, or you could hang this up on the wall or pretty much anything really. Pretty cool design for the power and volume buttons though. Kind of interesting, you can reach the power and volume buttons underneath with the tablet laying down. It's almost like it's on a stand because of the speaker. It also has a little bit larger screen now at 12.1 inches. It's an IPS display at up to 120 Hz refresh rate. Also up to 800 nits brightness now at 2560 by 1600 resolution. You don't get a fingerprint scanner on here, but it does have face unlock and of course password. Of course it has Gemini as the assistant. It's on gesture navigation by default, but you can switch it to 3-button navigation as well. It also shows you a few different ways of using the built-in kickstand. You can even use this in portrait mode if you want to. It is going to force you to install some of these apps. Just keep in mind you can uninstall those later if you want to. Okay, wallpaper on this one actually looks pretty decent in my opinion. Definitely feels a little bit different when you're holding the tablet with one hand. You can almost use the speaker on the back as a handle, but it definitely feels a lot different than most other tablets. Now in landscape mode, it's not that much different because you can hold the sides pretty good before you run into the speaker on the back. They have the Google Entertainment space left of the home screen with stuff to watch, games to play, stuff to read and listen to. But the screen quality on here looks really nice, has good contrast and good viewing angles. You've also got the taskbar down here at the bottom, which makes it easier to switch back and forth between apps. You can also turn that off in the settings if you want a little more screen real estate. You can also do split screen and floating windows on here as well. If you're not familiar with Lenovo tablets, you can actually do a lot of things similar on this as you can on Samsung tablets. There's just a few things that are different here and there. Of course, this is wide vinyl 1, which is good for streaming apps like Netflix, and it can go up to 4K resolution for YouTube videos as well. Of course, this does work with the Tab Pen Plus. It doesn't seem to snap onto the side or anything, and you've got to charge it by USB-C. It's got good pressure sensitivity. It's going to be very similar to an Apple Pencil that has the harder tip on it. It's nice that you have pen support on this tablet. If you want to draw, take notes, or just move around the software, you're going to get the same little toolbox on this as some of the other Lenovo tablets that have ink mode, easy jot, circle to search, partial screenshot, new note, virtual pointer, magnifying glass, and remote control. Looks like most of the apps from Google are pre-installed, and then some of those extras. Comes with Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.4. You're going to get the same software updates on this as the new Idea Tab Pro Gen 2. 2 years of major software updates, 4 years of security updates. You can see notifications over on the left, shortcuts over on the right. This one also has desk mode, which used to be PC mode. Then you've got stuff like split screen, quick share, screenshot, reading mode, eye protection, and so on. Of course, you can add even more stuff like Dolby Atmos, screencast, VPN, restart, TV remote, and so on. It does allow you to change it from auto refresh rate to 120 or 60 Hertz, so that's always nice to have. Looks like there is a software update, so might as well go ahead and do that. It does have its own section that tells you all the specs about the tablet. Has about 99 gigabytes available of the 128. It's on Android 16 right out of the box, ZUI 18, which is their own skin that they put on top of Android. Performance-wise, this has a MediaTek Dimensity 7400 processor. Now, as you can see from the benchmark results, this is not as powerful as the new Tab Pro Gen 2. It's lower pretty much across the board on single and multi-core scores, and quite a bit lower on GPU performance as well. It'll still be able to play most games in the Play Store, fairly smooth, obviously at lower graphics and frame rate settings. It's got a 10,200 milliamp hour battery. I ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and this lasted about 6 hours, so not bad considering the size and screen brightness. It should have plenty of power to last a couple days with normal use, even longer once you turn the screen brightness down. Nice thing is it does have up to 45 watt fast charging, so it's not going to take too long to charge back up. Now, I thought the previous version had pretty impressive speakers, but as you can see, this one's a totally different design. You can see the huge JBL speaker on the back. It's got 4 tweeters, 3 woofers, and 2 passive radiators. Also has dual microphones as well. I'm not sure if it sounds as good as a separate Bluetooth speaker, but it definitely sounds better than most other tablets that I've tested. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how it sounds.
But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray. As you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Nice thing is you've got a higher resolution camera on the back now at 13 megapixels and then 8 megapixels on the front. It's got a pretty simple camera app with documents, photo, and video. It can also shoot up to 4K resolution for video recording. Looks like pretty good camera quality, at least in my studio lighting, but here's a few quick samples just to give you an idea of what to expect. It's probably going to depend on how you use this tablet, because I feel like the speaker on the back could get in the way in some cases, but if you plan on just setting this on a counter in your kitchen or something like that, it's actually going to work pretty good. It's probably going to work better than most tablets, and you won't have to worry about getting a case considering the built-in kickstand and the included clear case as well. I think overall this is a pretty nice tablet, definitely one of the more unique tablets that I've seen in quite a while. I'll have to compare this to some of the others that I've got, and probably to the previous version as well. Plus, I've got a lot of other stuff that I'm working on, so you'll want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.